What's going on, everyone? Bass here, and welcome back to my weekly 7-round Green Bay Packers mock draft. This is version 10.0 as we near within 8 days of the NFL draft. Only one more mock draft after this, so we're getting closer and closer, and I could not be more excited. I know I sound like a broken record that I'm excited for this draft, but let's face it, who isn't? And just a reminder, if you didn't know already, I will indeed be live streaming during the draft, so definitely try to make it out to my live stream during draft night. Also, if you stumbled across my channel and you're not subscribed already, please consider subscribing if you do enjoy my content. It helps me out, and I appreciate it a lot. As for any updates for the Packers regarding the draft, there really hasn't been any in the last week, so we're just going to go straight into it and bring up the draft screen here and get this thing started. So if we start here, everything's still the same, still using the Draft Network, and obviously the Packers still pick at 29, and trades are available in this. So let's get the first 5 picks out of the way, and we have Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Pitts, Sewell. I don't really need to talk about it. A lot of people are thinking Bengals are going to go Chase instead of Sewell now and then fill that tackle need in the second round. I could definitely see that happening. It seems Joe Burrow is campaigning for Jamar Chase, which rightfully so. So if they go Chase here, wouldn't be surprised. And then let's get the next 5 picks out of the way here. Chase goes to the Dolphins, Waddle, Slater, Lance, and Surtain. So nothing crazy here. You know, as we go past the 10th mock draft I've done, everything, you know, starts to repeat and repeat and repeat. So not much explaining to do on some of these picks. I could see the Lions going Slater here maybe, but they definitely do need a wide receiver. Slater for Carolina is definitely a dream scenario. You know, get their guy to protect Sam Darnold. And then Trey Lance to the Broncos, I like that pick. And then Patrick Surtain goes to the Cowboys pretty much every mock draft. So looking at the board, actually, it does look like Caleb Farley, at least for the Draft Network's board, did end up moving up some again. So I guess a lot of people are like me, not really worrying about this back injury. So probably won't fall to 29 in this mock draft like he has been the last few. Definitely interested to see where he goes. I think he might go to Arizona or Chicago, some team like that. But overall, I really like him as a Packer, but I just don't know if he's going to fall. He's so talented, and yes, the injury is scary, but I just I value his talent and his upside over that. All right, so getting the next 5 picks out of the way, Giants go receiver, and pause it here. So Giants go to Vaughan Smith. Eagles actually go J.C. Horn. They need help pretty much anywhere, so J.C. Horn's a good pick for them there. Darisaw and Tevin Jenkins going all the way up to 14 here. Usually the Vikings go Elijah Vera Tucker, which, you know, honestly, Tevin Jenkins, I like that for the Vikings better. He's like, you know, really good right tackle, power right tackle there. So I do like that pick for the Vikings. Darisaw, great for the Chargers, like I said. Mac Jones, the Patriots, I just don't see where else Mac Jones is going to go unless another team trades up. Right now, it's just seeming like the Patriots are definitely in a spot to get Mac Jones, so long the 49ers don't draft him at 3 for some reason. But yeah, so right now, Micah Parsons is still here. Farley's still here. Jalen Phillips, definitely an interesting edge player, is still here. Zaven Collins, Barmore, JOK, Vera Tucker, Kwity Paye, and a couple others. Rashad Bateman's kind of falling a little bit. I wouldn't be shocked if he's there at 29, and definitely would be an interesting thought for Gutekunst to draft him. So as of right now, I don't think I'm going to indeed trade up, so I'm going to let this ride, and Caleb Farley goes to the Cardinals, just like I said. Colts want to trade, but they want a 4th and a 7th. That's not a bad trade offer here, giving up a 4th and a 7th to move up 8 picks, but for right now, I'm going to decline it and pause it. Caleb Farley, like I said, I thought he might go to the Cardinals, and he does at 16. Micah Parsons to the Raiders. They could choose him or JOK, honestly. And JOK goes the pick right after to the Miami Dolphins. Newsome to the football team. I think if Newsome falls to 20, the Bears will definitely grab him. And, of course, I talk about Rashad Bateman, and he goes to the Bears. Shame. So, nothing you can really do there. As of right now, I don't really see anyone I need to trade up for right now. I do like Jamin Davis. He's starting to I'm starting to like him a lot more. Landon Dickerson's still here. Just the problem with Landon Dickerson is the injury concerns, and he doesn't really help week 1 for the Packers, which they need at line, considering Bakhtiari might not be able to start the year. So as of right now, I don't feel the need to also trade up. I'm going to decline that Colts trade. No one there was screaming for me to trade up. And the same thing, they just want a 4th to move up 7 spots. I'm gonna decline that. I just don't see anyone here that I necessarily need to trade up for. This is a very decent trade. Giving up only a 6 to move up 5 spots. I might take that. It depends who is here. All right, so I'm actually not going to trade. I was thinking about doing it for Zaven Collins or Barmore, but being 4 picks away, either of those could fall. And then of course you still have Trayvon Merrick here, which I really like the thought of the Packers getting him at 29. And you might be thinking, hey, we do not need a safety, and you're semi-right, but the Joe Barry defense, I feel getting another safety would be a little bit more important than getting a corner or a linebacker right off the bat. Now, obviously, getting a corner to develop under Kevin King and potentially move into that starting slot opposite Jair Alexander will definitely be important, but you can definitely get one of those corners in the second round that are good, like Melafano, maybe even Asante Samuel if he falls. Adebo. There's a lot of corners that you can still get in the second. I really like Trayvon Merrick. The idea of him in the Green Bay defense is flying around the field is definitely great. So I'm going to go ahead and resume this. Decline the Jaguars trade. They go Tony. Barmore goes. Kwity Paye goes. And our pick is up. And Zaven Collins is still here at 19. And that is definitely an idea. Azeez Ojulari is still here at edge. I think the Packers might go edge early, considering the cap hits of Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith are absurd for 2022, and I don't think either of them will be playing at those numbers. I think Preston will be gone, and Zadarius will either be extended or restructured again. All right, so a lot of you might be thinking, hey, you need to draft Zaven Collins right here, but he actually just did weigh in at 270, up 10 pounds from his original 260 that it says. So my guess is teams might actually view him as an edge player or an outside linebacker. He's really good at rushing the passer, so moving him to that spot wouldn't be too crazy. So I think teams might actually view him as that, and the Packers might as well. So I don't necessarily know if I want to draft him in this spot. Like I said, there's a lot of players still on here that I like. Merrick, Jamin Davis, Landon Dickerson is still here, Cosme, Terrace Marshall, Eichenberg, Creep Humphrey, Rondale Moore. There's a lot of players still here that I like, so I think at this point I'm going to see what the value is to trade down. I do like the prospect of trading down in this draft. Alright, so I'm going to try to trade down with the Jets here, swapping 29 for 34, gaining a third round, giving up a fifth. I'm happy with that because then that third round is actually pretty early. It's 4 picks after our pick at 62, so you get to double up there. I'm going to send this offer and see if they accept it. They should. They do. So let's see how the rest of this draft goes and who they traded up for. Probably, oh wow, Eddie and Harris go. Cosme, Owe, and the Giants choose Eichenberg. So Zaven Collins is still here. Wow. So I know I just went on an entire spiel on how Zaven Collins might be viewed as an edge because he's a little heavier now at 270 by some teams. But that got me thinking, wouldn't the versatility there kind of fit the Green Bay mold in terms of their defense? I mean, he's not just a linebacker that can rush the passer. His coverage grade last year was a 93.0. His pass rush grade was a 90.6. His run defense grade was a little lower at 65.7. But as I've said before, the Packers have 2 young guys in the linebacker room. And I know obviously adding someone who's just as young in the first round doesn't really solve the youth of that position, but Zaven Collins can do so much out of that linebacker position. They could line him up out wide if they want to and rush the passer with Z if they really wanted to, with Gary, and then of course put him in the middle to cover on later downs, kind of be that box player that they always needed. So right now, him being rank of a 19 on their predictive board and us being at 34, him falling this whole way, I really like Trayvon Merrick, and Jamin Davis is another linebacker that also I like on the Packers. But the fact that Zaven Collins is still here after trading down, he still fell. I'm going to go ahead and take him. I think the value is hard to pass up here at 34. So with this pick, I'm drafting Zaven Collins out of Tulsa. All right, so now letting the draft ride. All the guys I like go. Let's pause it here. Trayvon Merrick goes right after. Landon Dickerson, Jamin Davis, Ojulari, Baron Browning, Aaron Robinson. Aaron Robinson's a corner that's starting to grow on me a little bit more as well. Let's get this thing resumed. I'm trying to look... potentially trading up here because we have Creed Humphrey still here, Levi O here, we have Terrace Marshall, an edge with Carlos Basham, Dylan Redunz is still here, Javon Holland, who I really like, is still here, Asante Samuel at 60, Brady Christensen, who is on my video of 4 offensive players the Packers could select in rounds 2 to 3. If you want to check that out, just click the link right above. But right now, there's a lot of players still here, so I don't feel the need to trade. And as I mentioned before with the previous trade, we have pick at 62 and 66. So we have back-to-backs coming up. So hopefully we can get two really good players. Or Javon Holland goes and Terrace Marshall. That's a little annoying with Radons. Christensen, Creed Humphrey. Oh, man. A whole run. And Asante Samuel. A run on players just went. And Rondale Moore. I was about to just see if I could trade up for Rondale, but here we are. Okay, so a lot of players just went that I like, which is a shame, considering we're only about 7 picks away. But at this rate, we kind of got to let it ride and just see what's available here at 62. All right, so with this next pick, I'm pretty certain on who I'm going to draft here. I see him sitting down here at 67. He's the next lineman on the board. That is Quinn Miners. He is also in my video 4 players that the Packers could draft in rounds 2 to 3, and look where we are, round 2. Quinn Miners sitting right on the top of the board here. As I said, definitely check out that video if you want to see the other players on the list. But Quinn Miners would fill in at center day 1 if we needed him to. I think he could easily be starting center week 1 for the Packers, especially if you draft him in the 2nd round, just like you did Elton Jenkins. You expect the guy to play. Guy's an absolute beast, great athleticism, 6'3", 320 pounds. I mean, there's a video of him dunking a basketball, which is insane to show his athleticism. He has absolute burst. He can just bull rush, or not bull rush, he can battering ram defenders. He gets lower than them. Definitely a really interesting player, and he definitely screams Packers, obviously being from Wisconsin, Whitewater, and he looks like he has lineage from Josh Sitton. Looks like he's like a third cousin there somehow. So definitely going Quinn Miners here at pick 62 to kind of shore up and help our offensive line that has some holes. All right, so it's our pick again here at 66, only 4 picks later, and 2 wide receivers in Nico Collins and Dwayne Eskridge went the 2 picks after us. Spoiler alert, those are the 2 receivers in my video I keep talking about. Nico Collins, that traditional X wide receiver, 6'4", ran a 4.45, pretty damn good player. Dwayne Eskridge, the 5'9", smaller, speedy receiver, can return kicks, good vertical threat in the slot. Would have liked to get either of those, but I think we can address wide receiver a little bit later. So at this point, I think we kind of do need to address the defensive backfield. There is Richie Grant here, but a guy I have my eyes on is Ifatu Melafano. So Ifatu Melafano fits the Packers mold. He's 6'3", 213. His RAS score is a 9.69. He ran a 4.48 40. He has the length. His vertical was a 41.5-inch vertical. The dude can really get up there. I really like him in the Green Bay defense. I think he does scream Packer in terms of corner. You know, obviously he's got to be developed a little bit, but that's perfect because he's not going to have to start right away. He can be kind of transitioned into that corner role. Had a 78.8 PFF rating in 2020. He allowed 394 yards, 2 touchdowns, and had an interception. But rare athlete for his size, definitely a really good athlete. So at this point, I want to take the next corner on the board, and that is Ifatu Melafano out of Syracuse at pick 66. So as we watch the draft go by, some players I like. Tommy Tremble, a lot of people like the thought of him being a Packer. Paulson Debo, really nice corner. I think it's going to be a steal. Amon St. Brown went, Equanimeous his brother, and we are 2 picks away now. And some players on the board, Nasruddin still here, Benjamin St. Juste, Tufele, Elijah Griffin, James Hudson, Elaine Mcneil is still here, so I might actually want to trade down. I really like the thought of Elaine Mcneil in the Packers defense at that zero tech spot to really lock down the run game. Milton Williams is still here, though. The thing with Milton Williams, though, I just don't really think he fits the Packers scheme. I think he's more of a 4-3 defensive lineman. He's a little light, he's a little small. So I just don't really see him fitting the Packers defensive line here. So at this rate, I think I'm going to see if there's any trade availability. Maybe we can swap picks with some people down the line to get maybe a higher 4th round, a higher 5th round, because there are still a lot of players here I do like. Tro Williams is still here. Twyman's still here. Elaine Mcneil, Shelvin. There's a lot of players I like here. St. Juste, like I said, Nasruddin, Diablo here. Even Kenneth Gainwell would be a very big luxury pick here. We could go quarterback. We could always go quarterback here. Not going to do that. Going to save you guys the pain. But I'm going to see what there is in terms of trade value. All right, so I'm going to try moving back 10 spots with the 49ers. I'm going to be picking up a 4th round, but giving a 6th and a 7th. I'm okay with doing that. Moving back in this spot, there's still a lot of players that I like I said. So giving up a 6th and a 7th, I'm okay with that considering we already have another 6th, and 7th is pretty much just a luxury pick, getting a guy that you're going to get undrafted, but you have him under contract right away. So I'm going to go ahead and send this offer. It is likely, so we'll see if they do indeed accept it, and they do. So now, if we let the draft go by, and hopefully it doesn't skip my pick. It's doing that fast simulate thing. So it did last time it did that, it skipped my pick. So I'm going to try to pause it on here, and luckily it's allowing me to choose. Okay, so Kenneth Gainwell, Trey Sermon are still here at running back. Elijah Griffin at corner. James Hudson at tackle. Shelvin and Elaine Mcneil here. I think or Twyman. I might go one of these defensive linemen. The Packers do need some help down low. They have, Kenny Clark, obviously. Kingsley Keke, I do like. Tyler Lancaster, they re-signed, kind of a fill-in, depth player. And then I've always said it, Dean Lowry, I just don't feel is going to be here as of week 1. The Packers still have to clear some cap space after this draft to have some playing room and some money, so a post-June 1st designation cut for Dean Lowry is most likely. All right, so I think I'm going to stick with my guns here and basically go with Elaine Mcneil. I think he's great value here at 102. I could see him being a second-round player, a 90.7 PFF grade in 2020. An absolute beast in the run defense game, a 92-point run defense grade with a 77.5 pass rush grade. He fits right in at the zero tech spot with the Green Bay defensive line. 6'2", 320 pounds. I think he's an absolute beast from NC State. I think he goes a lot higher than 102. I think he goes, mid to late second round, right around the same spot as Tommy Togiai, another player I like. So with this pick, we're going to give our D-line some help and go Elaine Mcneil at pick 102 out of NC State. All right, and letting this draft go on, we do have a pick at pick 117, not that far away. And as some players go off the board, Tutu Atwell went off the board. I see him falling a lot because he just weighed in, I think, at 149 pounds. It says 165, 5'9". Today, supposedly he weighed in at 149, which is going to be like this. I think that one of the smallest players since the 1990s drafted. Just crazy. Hopefully he does well, but he's not like the fastest player for being that light, especially being that light. So definitely an interesting story, and I'm excited to see what he does. So a player that's really sticking out at me right now is indeed Andre Cisco, safety out of Syracuse. And as I said before, don't be surprised if the Packers do draft a safety kind of early. 4th round, is an ideal spot for a safety, possibly. Cisco, I feel, is going to be off the board by now. So this is another player that is still sitting here. I think he could go 3rd round, maybe even high 2nd. So it really depends. I think he's a really good safety, and if he gets the right coaching, he could be an elite safety. He covers ground so quickly. I think he had 26 interceptions or pass breakups in 24 career games. So just an absolute ball hawk as well. This allows them to use Adrian Amos and Darnell Savage in different ways, whether that be putting Darnell in a robber role or Amos down in the box. And then they could throw Cisco back there and just pretty much let him learn under these two safeties. So with this pick at 117, I'm indeed going Andre Cisco, safety out of Syracuse. So with the next pick, I think I'm going to try to address the wide receiver spot, the wide receiver gap for the Green Bay Packers. That is 2022. I'm looking at Amir Smith Marset here, 6'2", 186, a premier deep threat, honestly. Just a really good, he's fast. He can, his route tree, his vertical route tree is really, really good. He doesn't lose speed on his breaks, on his routes. And overall, I wouldn't really look at his stats too much. He only played 7 games. 345 yards and 4 touchdowns, but I think his numbers were really hampered by the Iowa passing offense, so I wouldn't really be too critical on that. So with this pick, I'm going to take Amir Smith Marset, wide receiver out of Iowa at pick 135. So with this pick at 142, I've said this multiple times with the Draft Network. I don't know why Walker Little sits here, but I'm gonna have to take him at this spot in the 4th round. I don't see him making it past the 3rd round. He could potentially be a 2nd rounder. I've said this so many times. Obviously, you worry because you haven't seen him since, 2018, 1 game into 2019, opted out 2020, was hurt 2019. But the prospect of him, the upside of Walker Little is what you're drafting. The potential of him, being a premier left tackle, right tackle in this league really interests me, and getting him here at pick 142. We already drafted Quinn Miners. That's our interior guy. Why not get a tackle here? Boost this tackle room after losing Ricky Wagner. So at this point, I have to draft Walker Little here out of Stanford at pick 142. So with this pick, I'm thinking indeed about doubling down at wide receiver, and a player that's sticking out to me right now is indeed Cornell Powell. I haven't really talked much about him in recent mock drafts, but he's a very physical receiver, being only 6'2", 205. I think he has something like 7 contested catches last year. Last year he had 53 receptions on 78 targets, 882 yards, and 7 touchdowns. That's 16.6 yards per reception. He has great separation downfield. His release package is nice. He's very shifty. I really like the idea of him and Smith-Marsette in this draft. If you get both these guys, I think there's great prospect in both of them, and they could become something very special in this league, especially playing with someone like Aaron Rodgers. If they get on the same page as him, you're looking good. And as I've said in previous videos, the Packers don't have a wide receiver under contract for 2022. I think MVS might be brought back. Maybe Lazard. St. Brown's probably as good as gone after this year. So with this pick, enough talking. Going to take Cornell Powell here out of Clemson, 179, taking him at pick 176. I also feel he could go 4th round, not 5th. But who knows? Could fall to the 5th here. Could even go 3rd. It's an interesting player, but probably 4th round is a good spot for him. But I'm getting him here at 5th at pick 176, wide receiver Cornell Powell out of Clemson. So I know this is a reoccurring theme with this draft, but another player that I don't see falling anywhere near this spot, round 6, is Tae Gowan. I see him going in the 3rd, 4th round. Very, good corner here at 6'2", 185, has great speed for being 6'2". He has a really good closing speed down the field. He can play press, he can play off, he's just a natural athlete. Now, he did opt out in 2020, so that's always a worry, but in 2019, he had an 81.0 PFF rating, 20 receptions on 50 targets, allowed 274 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he had 2 interceptions. He allowed a passer rating of 54.9. And as I said, I don't see him being here. TDN has him as the 215th best player. I see him a lot higher than that. So at this point, I'm going to double down on corner with our final pick, just like I just doubled down with wide receiver, and take Tay Gowen out of UCF. Alright, so now with this draft finished, looking over our picks, I really, really, really like this draft. I would be ecstatic if this is how the Packers draft turned out. But knowing the Packers and knowing how mock drafts work, not a single one of these picks is going to be correct. But hey, we're here for fun anyways. Zaven Collins here at pick 34, traded down. He fell all the way to 34. Did weigh in at 270 today, I believe. Could be viewed as an edge by some players, an outside linebacker by some players, but I think the versatility he gives within the Green Bay defense, being able to edge rush if he needed to, cover, which we definitely do need a good cover linebacker like Zaven Collins. Just really like him here, especially at 34. And then in our second round, we gained 2 second-round picks. Well, we gained 1, so we'll have 2 overall, and one of which I drafted Quinn Miners. Instant day 1 center if you need him to be. Just an absolute athlete, power player, just completely demolishes some players, especially in the Senior Bowl. If you haven't seen his Senior Bowl highlights, I suggest you go search them up. Really like him out of Wisconsin Whitewater, a fan favorite definitely from Packers fans. As I said before, probably has some lineage with Josh Sitton. He looks very eerily similar to Josh Sitton. And then at pick 66, we grab our corner, Ifatu Melafano. I know a lot of people do like the thought of him in Green Bay. He screams Packer, 6'2", 6'3", 212 pounds, has speed, raw, but can be coached. Doesn't have to go into stardom right away, which is great. Great for a player like him. He can learn the defense, get reps over time, and then eventually become a starting cornerback opposite Jair. After him at 102, we draft Elaine Mcneil. Really like Elaine Mcneil. I see him going a lot sooner than 102. The thought of him at the 0 tech next to Kenny Clark, I really like it. I love his presence in the run defense game. Probably the best run defender in this draft in terms of defensive linemen. I think he's a really good player. Definitely going to be a steal for any team that grabs him, so getting him at 102, no problem with that. And then getting Andre Cisco at 117. I like getting a safety in the round four here because, as I said, this allows the Packers to use Amos and Savage in different ways. Amos down in the box, Savage in a robber role. Gives them more depth at safety, which they don't really have. They did bring back Redmond. They do have Vernon Scott, but getting a guy like Cisco, who with the right coaching could be an elite level safety. His closing speed is unmatched. Great safety there at Syracuse. Dropping down to 135 would grab kind of a developmental, but also a good deep threat receiver in Amir Smith. Marset has his issues, but The Packers drafting another receiver with a dash in their name that's fast, that can run a deep ball. Hey, why not? So then at pick 142, I've said this time and time again, I don't know why Walker Little keeps falling, but you can't blame me for taking him if he were to fall at 142. I think the only reason he's not a first-round draft choice is because he didn't play in 2020 and basically all of 2019. So there's a lot unknown on him, but before that, he was a top 15 pick at tackle. So I like the prospect here. It's low risk, high reward here at 142. Could be a future left tackle, could be a future right tackle, and could be a star at both positions. So I really like him here at 142. Then at 146, we doubled down on wide receiver, drafting Cornell Powell, a 6', 205 receiver that is fast, plays very physical. A lot of contested catches last year, I think 7. Overall, I like getting a physical jump ball contested catch type receiver, and he definitely showed that. I would like the thought of him in the Green Bay offense. Could definitely learn the offense, get on the same page as Aaron Rodgers. You don't have to rush him in right away, so that's really good for him. And then with our last pick at 217, I went with Tae Gowan here. Again, don't know why he fell. Don't know why they have him ranked so low. He could be a 3rd round, 4th round draft choice easily. Just an overall really good athletic sound corner. Really fluid in press, really fluid in back off coverage. His closing speed's great. 6'2", 185. He pretty much bodied Simi Fehoko, Stanford wide receiver. I think he's 6'4". He bodied him when he played him. Just a very all-around sound corner, especially at 217. Like I said, getting him in the 4th I would be okay with, but here at 217, couldn't be happier. And overall, I really like how this draft laid out. I think we hit pretty much every need the Packers have. But I'm interested to hear what you think of this draft. What would you rate this draft? And also, what players do you like the most out of this draft? And if there were any that I didn't draft that were available at the picks I was taking, definitely do let me know. And on that note, that's going to about do it for today. We have one more mock draft left after this. It would have been nice to end on 10.0, but hey, we're going to end on 11.0. Why not? And then next Thursday, we have the first round of the NFL draft. Again, I will be live streaming. Definitely try to come by and hang around and just talk draft with me all night. It'll be a fun time, so definitely try to make it out. I hope everyone has a great rest of your Wednesday afternoon, and as always, go Pack Go.